From the Audi Performance Studio, welcome to Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM.
Eric Allen, Anthony Beck, Quincy Enunwa. The Jets fall to 1-3 on the year with a tough 23-20 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs at MetLife Stadium. But I'll tell you what, fellas, this looked like a first-round knockout early. The Jets were on the ropes. They were wobbly, but they came back. They got their punches in, and it was a 20-20 game in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, too much Patrick Mahomes with his legs.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It was kind of almost a knockout blow. We've seen those fights where a boxer came back. How did he come back from that? But it was a heck of a job by the Jets, just kind of fighting. And they kind of fought their way back. You know, he really kind of trigger the momentum, which was crazy. You know, you see the score 17-2, you're thinking, how can you gain momentum? But it's something to really hang your hat on. You know, listen, Zach Wilson played his best game of the year. I think we're all feeling better about the place they're in offensively this week than we were the last couple weeks. Now, when you look at the totality of the game, if you want to be a team that gets the win, and put yourself in a position to you got to make the big plays, right? You got to make the ones that matter. A couple touchdown areas, red zone opportunities that the Jets weren't able to get down the sidelines to Garrett Wilson, and then, of course, to Conklin as well. But, hey, guys went out and made plays today. It was good to see. You know, Zach was on point. I thought his ball placement was really, really on point early in the game. And clearly, you know, Quincy talked about this and just him getting in a groove and feeling well about what he was doing. That always kind of triggers Zach's performance in a game, and that was what it was. So early on, I was a little shaky on just kind of where they were going offensively, and then it kind of they kind of hit some things and got it going, but it wasn't the cleanest operation the first maybe 3 series of the game, but they figured it out. Would have loved to seen a little bit more out of the running game, productive for the carries that Breece Hall got. But offensively, you got to like where the team is. And if you're this close from making a play, that's great. And, of course, the fumble. I mean, you know, and Zach manned up today and after the game, and he took that one right on the chin with that fumble, and it was a big deal. I mean, in that moment, it was a big play, and he knows. You got to catch that. You got to play, and whatever happens in that moment, it happens. But, you know, it was a big play in the game, and you got the ball back to arguably the best player in the NFL, and that, you know what happens. He's a close, and he closes that one out.
Yeah, the Chiefs melted that clock. 7.5 minutes, the final 7.5 minutes of the fourth quarter. A lot of things to get to, but what were you most encouraged about? Was it number 2? Was it Zach Wilson making his 25th career start in the National Football League?
Yeah, I definitely think it was number 2. I think I've been seeing the growth from him, and it's encouraging to see that this week he was able to put it all together. You know, you saw a lot of confidence from him. You saw a lot of him not making the decisions he was making last year. One thing I talked about last year that he did a lot was that reverse spin, you know, trying to get away from the pressure. Then he would run back even further back. You're not seeing that from him this year. You're seeing a lot of decisiveness. You're seeing a lot of him just finding where he needs to go, making the reads and putting the ball where he needs to go. And that's why you're not seeing a lot of interceptions. Now, obviously, we have those 3 against Dallas, right? I think that I'll call that an outlier. But other than that, he's really kind of putting the ball where he needs to put. And that's what's been encouraging for me, to see that from him.
All right, so we're going to take a look at the passing chart, Zach Wilson's passing chart tonight. I'll tell you what, for my money, the more effective passer tonight was Zach Wilson compared to Patrick Mahomes.
He was. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility on his back. I mean, you know, I think I only had 16 rushes, right? So Zach, it got put on his plate, which, you know, if you went into this game, Q, you probably would have thought it'd be a little more balanced, you know, just when you're talking about helping the quarterback be successful. But he did look calm. He did look poised. He looked confident. He knew where he wanted to go with the football. And, you know, the Chiefs' defense, which is pretty respectable defense, really couldn't get to him much. He was able to make some big plays. So, yeah, it's a good chart there, pretty productive. You know, had a couple down-the-field throws. They got some opportunities. But, you know, again, those opportunities that he missed are ones that you're going to critique yourself the hardest. And, you know, next week is another opportunity to maybe, okay, now it's time you put it all together and you actually start nailing those throws home and you make those big plays in the end zone.
Exactly.
How about how decisive he was in the pocket today, even on some of those short throws, because we just saw the chart. The long throws started with him getting outside the pocket to Lazard. He throws that down the sideline. And that drive in the second half was a thing of beauty. the back shoulder connections
Tight
to
end.
Conklin and
Tight
Rucker,
ends.
your guys out there, and then the touchdown to Lazard that we're going to break down later.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I've been also talking about is just getting him moving, and there was a lot of that. A lot of play action, getting him out, getting him on the perimeter. He had a lot of outside throws this game. He had a lot of over-the-middle throws as well. It was just they were spreading it out well. You saw that down the field. Actually, when you think about it, and I would love to kind of see a chart of this, but that deep throw, he had like 3 deep throws in the top right of the chart that we made. Shout out to Tim, right? And I think in the last year he had a couple there too. I think one was to Corey Davis, or a couple was to Corey Davis in that same area. He even might have had one to Garrett Wilson in that same area. So it looks like that's where you need to start getting him those passes, right? Let him roll out, throw those deep passes over there, give him those opportunities. He likes putting the ball there.
All right, we're going to go to the other side of the ball right now, though, because Quincy Williams continues to be all over the field. A stat stuffer, 13 tackles tonight for the Jets defense. Caroline Undershot talked to the Jets linebacker after the game.
Here with Quincy Williams. Quincy, what was working so well for the defense tonight? It seemed like you guys were clicking right off the start.
All right, let's be honest, not off the start. It wasn't our game. I mean, throughout the week, we had already said we was going to get a lot of looks. For our standard, we started off kind of slow. Came to the sideline, got a lot of looks and stuff like that. I mean, we already prepared for that throughout the week. Came to the sideline real fast, made some corrections and stuff, and fell back on our fundamentals. So no matter what we get, we all communicating on the same page and stuff. And as you can see, that when we came back out, we're unstoppable.
What was that talk on the sideline of what needed to change?
The biggest thing was calm down. I mean, we know we're going to get a lot of looks. The biggest thing is communication. So no matter what they throw at us, if we all on the same page, we all good. So that was the biggest thing. So following on our fundamentals. The biggest thing there was relax. There's no panic. So that's the biggest thing.
You guys were able to step up against this reigning Super Bowl champions offense. What did you think you learned about yourselves tonight?
The finish. That's the biggest thing, for real. So, like I said, they threw a lot of us at the beginning, come to the sideline real fast, make some corrections, and the biggest thing is not making those same mistakes when we get back out there. So, for our standard, we started kind of slow, came back to the sideline, then came to play our type football, our style of football.
I know it wasn't the result you wanted, but you personally, you were all over the field tonight, flying around as you always are, but 2 tackles for loss, 2 PDs, a quarterback hit. What was working so well for you tonight?
Falling back on my fundamentals and trusting my teammates, playing my game. Then on top of that, communicating with CJ, communicating with the whole defense. Everybody was saying what they see because, like I said, they throw a lot at you, so everybody on the same page. And then the biggest thing, making the plays that come to you and making the plays when your name get called.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Quincy.
Thanks for having me.
We're watching Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. Taking a look at the game summary right now. The Chiefs had 401 total yards, 200 of those coming in the first quarter. The Jets were so much better defensively, quarters 2 through 4. You see there, the Jets getting it done through the air tonight. While Breece Hall had a very good game on the ground, a limited number of attempts, and the Jets made some strides offensively on 3rd down, going 5 of 12 after struggling mightily the last couple weeks. All right, let's bring in Ethan Greenberg from MetLife Stadium. Disappointing loss for the Jets Greens. What can you say about that final drive where the Chiefs held the ball for the final 7.5 minutes of the 4th quarter? The Jets never touched the ball again after Zach Wilson's fumble.
Well, obviously, I think a lot of fans right now on Twitter are pointing to officiating. And if you start with the 3rd and 23 scramble where Patrick Mahomes gets the first down, there was a flag that was not thrown that a lot of fans and some football analysts believe should have been thrown on Germaine Johnson rushing up the left side against the left tackle, where it looked like Germaine was being held. And I spoke with Germaine Johnson after the game. He said that, one, he did think he was held, and what he didn't want to do was get a flag for another personal foul because he had the first one on the first drive, and with 2 you get ejected. I know it was late in the game, but when you're watching the play, you're like, I wonder why Jermaine's not trying to work off his block. He told me that he didn't want to do anything crazy that would warrant another personal foul. He actually just said he was just trying to draw attention to him being held. Obviously, it was not called, and the rest is history. As for a flag that was thrown against Sauce Gardner told the media after the game that he doesn't think he held Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which was obviously a major blow to the Jets because Michael Carter II ended up intercepting that ball. It was called back because of the holding penalty. The drive extends. Like you said, the Jets never got the ball. But Sauce's biggest issue with the flag was the timing of it. And I rewatched the play, and Michael Carter II pretty much has the ball in his hands by the time that Sauce Gardner is being flagged for holding on Valdez-Scantling. So just something to keep in mind as we analyze this game a little bit, EA.
It's interesting because Germaine Johnson was held on that play, but also C.J. Mosley, I believe, was flagged for illegal contact. So we would have seen both flags on either side of the ball there. But from your vantage point, when you're watching in the press box and you see Mahomes throw in triple coverage there, are you surprised by the decision? And how tough of an outcome was that for the Jets? Because after the 3rd and 23, that play that Sauce was called for the holding penalty, that was a 3rd and 22.
Yeah, I think that those two plays, the 3rd and 20 pluses, that's uncharacteristic of this Jets defense. And the first half wasn't really Jets defense in terms of football, letting up 17 straight points. And speaking with Germaine Johnson and Quincy Williams, they said that the Jets just needed to settle in a little bit, and then they found their footing in the second half. But was I surprised that he threw the ball? I was. I mean, I was surprised that Patrick Mahomes threw a couple of the balls that were intercepted, especially the first one to Ashton Davis, because when you're watching the play, you're not really seeing what he's seeing. And he's a fantastic player. That was evident. The Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. But I was a little surprised on some of the decision-making. But obviously it worked out fine for them in the end with securing the 23-20 win here at MetLife Stadium.
Greens, good adjustments from the Jets defense tonight because they gave up 200 yards in the first quarter, 201 the rest of the game. They had 2 interceptions. And, oh, by the way, the Chiefs went 0 of 4 in the red zone. That's why the Jets were in this game throughout. Good stuff from you from MetLife, buddy. This was by far Zach Wilson's best performance in 2023. Completed 72% of his passes, had the 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Unfortunately, that snap he wasn't able to hang on to in the fourth quarter, so he's charged with the 1 turnover. But the 28 completions for Zach Wilson tonight, that was a career high. All right, let's get into our telestration right now. We're powered by Microsoft Surface as always. Quincy, I thought this was one of Zach Wilson's finest performances in the National Football League. His 25th career start. He's 28-39, 245 yards. You're going to take us through the 2 touchdowns now, starting with the latter of the 2 scores.
Yes. So Zach Wilson played really well under the lights. I mean, it was a great showing by him. On this first play here, I'm going to show you, and then the second play will be more of a combination of Zach and Hackett's play calling. So here on this first one, we have a double post play. So you'll have a post here. A post here, you're trying to occupy this safety with the inside post. The idea is you draw him away and you throw that outside post. So on this play, I'm going to let it run. The backside, I'm going to show you just how confident Zach was feeling. So great tight window throw. So usually on this play right here, I just want to show you. So like I said, you're taking this safety away. You're going to have this guy try to run across his toes and take him over here so that this post is wide open. Excuse me. The post is coming behind Garrett Wilson. So we're going to go with it. And the safety doesn't jump. He stays there. But Zach was feeling so confident in this game. He knew he could make the throws he needed to make. Look at that. Touchdown, Allen Lazard. Usually you'd be, oh, no. But, man, Zach was just feeling so good this game.
Back shoulder, right, Q?
Man, great,
and if he
great
leads
throw.
him there, that could be an interception. Right?
Exactly. So he's showing the talents that he has there. You know, they trusted him this game, and they let him kind of run it. So on the second play here, what I want to show you guys here is just great overall execution on this play. So you're going to see this play here. It's a play action. You're going to have a 1 receiver out. Garrett Wilson, you usually think, okay, this guy's out to the left side. He's going to be the guy getting the ball. There's nothing else going on but the play action. They ran something similar where Garrett Wilson actually ran a fade out there. So this time they run a slant. But instead of continuing with the slant, you've got Uzomah right here, fake blocking, and then going on the fade. And again, another confident throw, right? He knows his guy's open, gives him a little slight back shoulder and a touchdown. Great execution by this team the whole way.
But Q, that goes down as a 1-yard score in the box score.
Right.
That's a really nice throw.
Definitely tight. You know, it's a tight area down there. You know, anytime you're in the red zone, you got to be quicker with your decision making and everything like that. He had an opportunity to go to Garrett in the backside. He threw it to Uzomah, who did a great job of selling the fake. A lot of times, I just want to one more time show you guys this. A lot of times, guys will be so happy to get a touchdown, they won't sell the fake. He did a good job, and you see the touchdown in the back end zone.
Yeah, definitely. Strides were taken tonight by Zach Wilson. After the game, the voice of the Jets, Bob Wischusen, caught up with the Jets quarterback.
Zach, let's start with the negative. What happened on the snap?
That's stupid. Bad by me. I need to be better. You know, it's critical. You know, every time I touch that ball, I put the whole team. I have the whole team in my hands, and, you know, we talked about that front. I was trying to figure out what to get to there. They had a small on the edge. I should have changed the protection. I was trying to lean out of there to stay away from the hot. You know, the guy was coming free, and obviously when you drop it, that's why he jumped on it so quick, because we had no one to block him, and that's on me. I should have changed the protection. I should have held on to that. We were driving, and I need to be better for this team.
Well, you said you need to be better, but tonight you were. You looked like a different quarterback. Did you feel like a different quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like we got into a rhythm. Things were flowing. I felt like I was seeing the field well. I was getting us into the right looks. But, you know, it's the little things that I'm taking away from this game that just need to be better. You know, the little details, the little things, because our defense is coming up. They're getting takeaways. They're giving us chances, and guys are making plays around me. O-line's holding up, so I need to do my part.
Down 17-0 to fight all the way back and make it the game that you did. Not just the offense, but all three phases. What do you think this team takes going forward now? That's the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, we need to keep building on this, and I think more than ever, this team's got each other's back. No matter what, you know, no matter what's going on outside the locker room, we have each other's back, no matter what. And, you know, as much as it hurts right now for me to let those guys down, I truly believe they all got my back, and I'm going to do everything I can for them to be better.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, before we get to the grades, we just heard from Jets quarterback Zach Wilson. You wanted to...
I do. I want to say, Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you put up the graphic of his statistics in the game that we showed, his touchdowns and completion percentage? Folks, I'm just telling you this right now. If this kid does this, how do you not win a football game if you're the Jets? Yeah. I'm just telling you this right now. So what's the problem, right? So you look at this. What more do you want him to do? Now, yeah, he had the fumble, didn't lose the game, okay? But if you got the best defense in the league, that should win you every single week. So, again, it made me change my grade when we get into the grade as I rethought the process on how it all went down today, you know, from a defensive side. Because I think we looked at the big picture, Coach Salah, some folks, you know, but I just think there's some hidden numbers there that just really hurt the team in general when the kid played lights out today pretty much for the remainder of the last three quarters of the game.
I was just getting Bob shoes and highlights of my ears right now.
I didn't hear that.
Anyway, now, can you talk about how far he's come? Just the way he...
Well, how far he's come will dictate next week.
We want to see consistency.
That's how you do it.
You want to see consistency.
You got to build on it, right?
No, but I'm not.
You got to stay here and go a little bit.
I'm just not talking about numbers. I'm talking about the way he's owning things.
I was impressed. It's a lot of pressure, man. Everybody was killing this dude last week.
Yeah.
The media needs to chill this week. Get on another topic, right? Because he lived. I mean, look, you came in. You played the Chiefs at home on Monday night. Okay, I mean, it was like no bigger stage against arguably a Super Bowl contender, and you showed up. So, I mean, listen, man, you know, he wins a lot of the guys in the locker room for sure. If that was an issue, I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, but clearly, he gets a pass this week now. You know, now he's got to just come out next week and be the same, be close to that, and continue to show, like, listen, man, I put the work in this week. My coordinator put a good package together for me. It worked. Now let's get even more plays in there so it can be better. And, you know, now it's like, okay, you put that same kind of numbers up in that graphic. Why aren't you winning the football game? So that's a little bit more disappointing as I look at that. I kind of like, wow, like, if we get Zach to do that, we should be winning. Like if that was Aaron Rodgers' picture on that statistics sheet right there, and you don't win the game, what's the problem, right? That's what we want Aaron to do right there. That's all we need Aaron to do.
Yeah.
So, again, it's defensively, I'll talk about it in our grades, it's just big picture, just, wasn't good enough on that side of the football, which was disappointing because that's where you count on it. That's where you have to count on it when you have a productive day like Zach did today.
All right, but the message coming out of the locker room at MetLife Stadium is that Zach addressed the players, and he pointed to himself as the responsibility of why the Jets lost.
Yeah, real leadership stuff right there, man. That's what we've been looking for. We talked about last year how he's kind of made some comments that he didn't need to make. This year you could tell he really was humbled, and he really went into this year like, okay, listen, I'm a backup to Aaron Rodgers, so I need to really be learning from him. And he may not have watched Aaron Rodgers for a season, but you could tell he learned some things.
And I bet you a lot of people, not just who've been following the Jets, but throughout the nation, looked at this game and said, hey, Jets are going to get blown out tonight, and Zach Wilson might get removed because he has not played well last couple games, and the Jets offensively have been stagnant. But in turn, he comes out and plays one of his best performances in the National Football League. So give him a ton of credit. Yeah. All right, let's get to our grades. We're going to start with the coach, Anthony Beck.
So offensively, I spoke about it pretty much at length here. We're going to go offensively a B-. I mean, look, quarterback played his best game. Not enough carries, I think, for Brees in this football game. I thought the offensive line came out with some purpose today. Clearly, no turnovers from an interception standpoint. You had that late fumble. And, of course, Zach missed a couple throws that could have made him even have a better day today, that you got to nail the coffin shut with those things. So go with a B-. Defensively, I changed it from a B- to a C+. And the reason why I did that, quite frankly, we talked about it. 200 yards was given up in the first quarter, was it, or first half?
First quarter.
First quarter. Yeah. Okay, 200 yards rushing. All right, premium rushing yards by the quarterback. They did not get the quarterback secured in the pocket enough in this game. Bryce Huff played a good game from a pass rush standpoint, but nobody else really did anything from a pocket standpoint to make it dangerous for him. Now, they forced 2 turnovers. Yeah, they should have had 4 in this football game, and they only got 2. Crucial penalties cost them. So, again, when you look at it, and I just go off of just how the offense played, it should have been good enough to win this football game. Yep. And I looked at the defensive side, and it wasn't good enough. 400 yards total is not what we're looking for. And the third downs, quite frankly, at 58% is not good enough either. So, this guy, CJ, Quincy, hell of the games, 24 total tackles between both of them. But again, big picture now, if this defense wants to be great, those kind of performances get put up by your quarterback, you better win the football game, or you're not going to get yourself in a position to make playoffs. And then special teams, I gave them a B-, just because, Greg the Leg missed the kick. You weren't, those are things we expect a kicker to make. We expect them to make them all. Overall, Gibson, all those guys did a decent job. I keep them in the B range. So, again, it was kind of eye-popping to me just as we did our show that's enough to get it done. So we got to get better on defense. I mean, look, yeah, that's a great offense. I get it. Great offense. And they did a lot of good things. If you looked at parts of this game, defense did play well, but, man, big picture, right? It's always about the big picture or how it goes down. Same thing for the offense, because big picture, you didn't hit those big throws where you needed them to be to get those red zone opportunities. 0-4 in the red zone for Kansas City, something to hang your hat on. But big picture, it wasn't good enough to get the victory. So, again, it needs to be better. I think they should be better. That's just me. They have a higher standard. I know they do. That can't be a performance overall that they feel like this is who we are, even though maybe there's spots and blurts of good things happening. You need 4 quarters of good ball for your defense.
Hey, Coach is getting tough here.
Yeah.
I've been really tough on the offense the last couple weeks.
We're on his grades.
We're getting close to 1 o'clock in the morning here, so, so he got out the red pen a little bit more.
Yeah.
How about you? You got any changes?
No, I didn't change. So I stayed consistent with mine. I know that, we've been trying to hide. Just want to let y'all know.
Shots fired.
I want to let y'all know. I stayed consistent with mine. I didn't change mine after I heard it, so we're going to go first to offense. So for offense, put it up for me real quick. I forgot what I put. Thank you. B. There we go. So it's my own grade. So I gave him a B, and this is why. I really like what I saw from Zach Wilson. Obviously, just like they said, if he plays that way, he's gonna win. We're going to win a lot of games. That's the way that you need to see from Zach Wilson, spreading the ball around. The tight ends got involved. Zach Wilson got out the pocket. We saw a lot of things that we've been looking for and asking for. Maybe Hackett's been watching the show. I don't know, but they did exactly what we've been talking about, and it's exciting to see because it only shows the potential of this offense, the ability that they have. Just keep watching, right? If that confidence can keep rolling over, if they know that they can do these things, then who knows where they're going to be at the end of the season, right? So they had the potential before the season started to be an exciting offense, and they showed tonight that they still can have that potential and still make that happen. So, it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the year looks like. Defensively, I gave them a C+. So I gave them a C+. Honestly, even listening to AB, I almost wanted to drop them down to a C. I like the 2 picks. I like how they contained Patrick Mahomes to some degree, right? Both of those picks came when he was trying to stretch the play, and that's where Mahomes is dangerous. If you look at the last play against the Bears, the last game against the Bears, he had one throw that he was getting dragged down, running out of the pocket, and just launched it, and it was a beautiful throw. Those are the plays that Mahomes excels in, and they limited those things. Obviously, Mahomes also has his legs, and he's a lot faster than he looks on TV because, man, sometimes when you watch him, it doesn't always look the most athletic, but that guy can move.
He doesn't look like Noah Lyles, huh?
And no, he definitely does not, right? So, he can move, and he did that. And I think that was one of those things that the Jets have to watch out for because running quarterbacks tend to make this defense kind of struggle a little bit. You look at the same thing with Josh Allen. He was able to run a little bit. I'm not going to harp too long on that. Defense, I gave them a C+. We want to see better from those guys. Like they said before, they want to be the 85 Bears. That's not going to cut it. Special teams, I went with a B-. B- here because of the missed kick. Obviously, it's a deep kick, but they call him Greg the Leg for a reason. They call him, what do they call him? There's another nickname. Legatron. You can't have these nicknames and not make those plays for this team. Other than that, though, there was some nice punts, right, inside the 5. I mean, great positioning. Gibson had a little bit, so B-.
All right, get my grades up there quickly. Flash them up. Starting with offense. B. Solid performance. I mean, we look at the rush numbers. Brees averaging more than 9 yards per carry. You're talking about Zach Wilson, career high, 28 completions. Connects on more than 70% of his passes. He's got the 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Garrett Wilson, 9 catches for 60 yards. You got a lot of guys involved. Beck's got to be happy tonight. Tyler Conklin, 4 catches. Jeremy Rucker had 2 catches. You had Uzama getting in the end zone as well. And this was the best that Zach Wilson has looked by far this year. Offense, B, unfortunately, they weren't able to get the ball down the stretch. I would have loved to see how Wilson would have handled that opportunity to go on a game-winning drive. Defense, roll it up there, B+. Listen, fellas, you guys are being tough. You had 2 takeaways. Patrick Mahomes looked very average as a passer tonight. They were 0 of 4 in the red zone, and you had a safety. It's a B+. If you told me before this game that the Jets were going to give up 23 points to Mahomes, sign me up. Give me that opportunity. I'm fine with that performance. You got to get a little bit better against. You got to get a little bit better.
First quarter was a disaster.
It was not good.
Both sides of the ball.
It was not good. You got to
can't play 3 quarters.
And you got to give Pacheco credit.
Hell of a job.
A world-class effort by him tonight. He's the guy who beat you tonight. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes.
He lost money in this game.
Okay, and then special teams, finally. It's a solid B. Zerline did miss the field goal, but I believe 4 of Morstead's punts were down inside the 20. And oh, by the way, this whole thing started, this whole comeback started on a Morstead punt that was down inside the 5-yard line, and Justin Hardy forced a holding penalty on the play. Yeah. So they started that possession at the 3-yard line. Next play, Huff with the safety he gets credited for. So, hey, let's look at the scoring summary right now. This is how it all went down at MetLife Stadium. Chiefs jump on top. The Jets come back. That second quarter rally. In the third quarter, tremendous drive by Zach Wilson, completing all seven of his attempts, including scoring touchdown to C.J. Uzomah, and he got it in on the ground as far as the two-point conversion after Allen Lazard touchdown. He was 7-7 on that drive for 75 yards. Let's go back to MetLife Stadium. Here's Ethan Greenberg with Germaine Johnson.
Here with Jets edge rusher Germaine Johnson. Germaine, just how gut-wrenching of a loss was this tonight?
I mean, any loss sucks, but that was hard, especially for me as a player, and then for us as a defense, because offense, they went out there and did their thing. Zach did his thing. We let up too many points in the first half, and we came out and tried to silence it and make up for it in the second half. But I mean, this league's too good. That team's too good to give out any free plays. And I'm speaking for myself. Obviously, the first play, that's 15 yards. That's going to eat me up. They ended up getting 3 points on that drive. So you can't give a good team like that any freebies.
What was the biggest difference for the defense in the beginning of the game versus the second half?
Just say we settled down. We played our brand of ball. They had some, unscouted looks and everything like that, first 15, but, that's no excuse. We just settled down, looked at the adjustments and made the adjustments I have.
There's a clip going around Twitter right now on the third and 23 that looks like you got held. Just from your vantage point, what happened on that play?
I was going, I'm looking at Mahomes, seeing which way he's going to go. He wasn't really going, so I was, trying to go apply some pressure. I got grabbed, and obviously I already had the one personal, so I didn't want to, try to get him off me, and then I get another one, I'm out the game, so I'm just trying to signal to a ref, like, yo, I can't move. Like, I'm trying to show resistance because I know that's what they need to see. I want that one back. I should never put myself in a position for him to hold me. I just want that one back. That was a 25-yard scramble by him, and the guys were playing with 10 on the field, and, I got to live with that.
And then just lastly here, when I know the result's not what anybody on this team wanted, but showing that you can go toe-to-toe with the defending Super Bowl champions, what does that show about this team when a lot of the national media didn't give the Jets a chance in this game?
It shows what we all already know. We're a bunch of fighters, and we got a lot of talent. But moral victory stuff is just, so, we want to win. So we're going to go out there, watch the film, go practice, and, look for that win next week.
Awesome. Germaine, appreciate the time. Thank you.
For sure.
No moral victories in the National Football League. The Jets came so close to knocking off the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, but they fall to 1-3 on the year. Valiant comeback, showed a lot of mettle. Their DNA, I thought, was on display because 17-0, it didn't look good. Looked like a runaway. With that being said, guys in the locker room aren't happy. Salah obviously ticked at the end of the game. But again, you're going to go back and look at the film like you do after every win and after every loss, and there's a lot to build off of.
Yeah, you're in a gotta-have-it situation next week.
Yeah.
Right? You have to beat Denver. You have to come back from this performance and build upon it. The Jets played a hell of a 3 quarters today. And ultimately, the reason why they lost is because that 1 quarter, they weren't able to finish it. So, this is a demanding schedule. They got to take it game by game. But it's not, in my opinion, out of the realm that they can put some wins together against some teams on there that, quite frankly, if you're a Jet fan, you're probably thinking, oh, there's no way we can hang with the Eagles. There's no way we can hang with the Chargers. Well, you just had the Super Bowl, runner-up or champion last year in your building, and you put a good effort together on there. And quite frankly, if a couple of things go your way, you may even win this game by 10, a touchdown or 10 points. So there are no moral victories. You're right. You got to win them. You got to critique it. But I just think as you move forward now, how does it all come together? Okay, good quarterback performance, defense sees something. Now everybody's like, okay, well, you know what? We can do this thing now. There's some belief. Everybody, coaching staff, everybody's got to put their best plan together, A game for next week. And so when we're sitting here and we're putting out those grades, boom, 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 we got A's because it all came together for them finally. And now you lay the chips out against Philly, and who knows? You got a bye week after that. You know what I'm saying? You can put more on the table after you take care of business next week against a really good Philly team.
There's definitely winnable games starting with next week. Would you echo those sentiments that looking ahead to Denver, a team that is in year one of their program? We saw what happened last week. They won today. That you have to get that before you come home and play Philadelphia before the bye.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they have to. I think that they should have that attitude no matter what. You know, from the outside, though, for us, sure, they need to get that win. But for them, I think they're going to have that attitude regardless. And listen, we knew going into this season that this schedule was going to be tough. It didn't matter who was at quarterback. This was a tough schedule. It was one of the top 10 toughest schedules in the league. So, I think, for them to come out with this game with the way that the roster has shaken up since the beginning of the year, for it to look the way it does now and them to only lose by 3 points to the defending champs, that's a moral victory. And again, no moral victories. We get that, right? But I think as a fan base, right, because this is who we're talking to now, that is a moral victory. You have to look at some of these things that happened today and say, okay, these are some things that this team can build on, right? The defense has to step it up, but we know that the defense has been consistently good. So that's not going to be consistent. That's not going to be something that they're going to see every week. And it was the Chiefs, okay, let's be honest. With the offense, though, that we're seeing progression from Zach, right? And I think that's what everybody wanted to see. Everybody wanted to see him doing the right things, making the right plays, and making big plays, and taking chances. He did all of that. So, take that moral victory as a fan base, right? And go into next week knowing that you don't have the Chiefs again. You have the Denver Broncos, who aren't as good of a team. Obviously they could do something and shock this team, but, at least have that confidence going into the game and make sure that the players feel that when they hit the field.
This loss was extremely painful, but the bottom line as we close here is Robert Saleh's right. If Zach Wilson plays like that, you get that kind of outing from him every game, you're going to win a lot of games this season. And, oh, by the way, 13 remain. All right, that's how we're going to close tonight. For Anthony Beck, Quincy Enunwa, I'm Eric Allen. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.